friends, welcome to my channel Grammar Tales. Learn English grammar with Krish. So today, before we begin with a new topic, we will just do a small recap of what we had done in the previous class. So if you remember, in the previous class what we had done linking verbs. So what are linking verbs? These are the verbs which act as a link, isn't it? As a link or a connection between the subject and what is being said about the subject in the later part of the sentence. So what are linking verbs? Verbs that act as a link, or a connection, isn't it? Or a connection between whom? It is a connection between the subject and the information about that subject, isn't it? So it is a connector, a link, or it acts as a connection between a subject and the further information about the subject in the sentence, in the later part of the sentence. Fine? Isn't clear? So these linking verbs, generally we know that what verbs are action words, isn't it? They denote some kind of action like singing, dancing, writing, sleeping, but these verbs, that is the linking verbs, they are not action words. All right, they are not used to show any kind of action, but they are used like as a link. Okay, they are only used as a link which will show a connection between the subject and the later part of the sentence, or it is giving any information about the subject. Fine. The verb to be is the most used or most common linking verbs. The verb to be is the most common, isn't it? There are how many types of to be? To be verbs are generally 8 types. That is, am, are, was, were, be, been and being. Alright, if you refer to the previous video, you will be clear. There are 8 forms of to be verbs. Alright, so the verb to be is the most common linking verbs, but there are also others such as the what? Stative verbs. If you remember, we had also done what? Stative verbs. So stative verbs are what? Stative verbs are verbs. Stative verbs actually describe a state rather than action. It is similar to the linking verbs. So stative verbs, like say, if I say she is a nurse. She is a nurse. See, in this sentence, this verb is. Here it is defining a state, isn't it? It is not defining any kind of or indicating any kind of action. It is only defining a state. What is it? It is that she is a nurse, isn't it? So that is a stative verb. It describes a state rather than any action. So in the previous class we had said that stative verbs relate to what? Stative verb relates to thoughts and opinions like agree, believe, imagine, know, recognize, remember, etc. They also relate to feelings and emotions. So what are feelings and emotions? Like, dislike, hate, love, prefer, want. Alright. Dislike, hate, love, etc. These are what? These are feelings and emotions, isn't it? So these are also stative verbs. Then there are also senses and perceptions. Senses and perceptions. These are also, they also relate to stative verbs. So senses and perceptions will be what? They will be feel, just a second, feel, then say like, hear, taste, smell, etc. Fine. So these are what? These also relate to stative verbs. These are the forms of stative verbs: senses and perceptions, and there is also possession and measurement. So under possession and measurement, what do we have? Belong, have, measure, possess, weigh, etc. Fine. So these are stative verbs. Now today we will do what? We will do auxiliary verbs. Okay. We will do what? We will do auxiliary verbs. Alright, let's start. Auxiliary verbs. So we'll start with an example. Alright, auxiliary verbs. See. We'll start with an example. See, example 1. He is riding a car. Fine? Alright. She was eating a banana. Right? They will write an application. Fine. So, see the sentences. He is riding a car. She was eating a banana. They will write an application. Fine. Now you see here these words is, was, will. Fine. What they are saying? First of all, he is. It is singular. Is it means what? It is present tense. He is riding, isn't it? She was. This is also singular. Was is in the past tense. They denotes what? They denotes plural. And here it is will. It is denoting what? Future. We are talking about the tense, isn't it? So these words, alright, these words, now they are being used with the main verbs, isn't it? This riding, eating, or write. These are what? These are the main verbs in the sentence. With the main verbs, we are using these also, where we are getting to understand the tense of the sentence. Tense as in present, past, future, isn't it? So he is in present tense, was past tense, will future tense, isn't it? So these verbs used along with the main verb are known as, when it is used in a sentence, these are known as what? Auxiliary verbs. The auxiliary verbs are what? They are also known as helping verbs. Fine. They are also known as helping verbs. Fine. You understood till here, I hope. All right. Now auxiliary verbs, they can be classified into what? They can be classified into two types. Classified into two main types. Alright. Now what are those? The first one is the primary auxiliary verb. Now we will see what is this primary auxiliary verb. One is the primary, another is the modal. Alright, today we will see the primary auxiliary verb first. Alright, so generally this auxiliary verbs or helping verbs are used to show the state of being, not any state of action. Say for example, if I say I am a woman, isn't it? So I am telling you what? That I am a woman, isn't it? Here I am not telling you about any kind of action or I'm not telling you that I'm not showing any kind of tense, present, past or future, isn't it? I'm just telling you my state of being, what I am. I am a woman. So auxiliary verbs, or generally the helping verbs as they are also known as, these verbs are used to show the state of being. Alright. So now we'll come to the primary auxiliary verb. Now what are the primary auxiliary verbs? To be verbs. Alright. To be. This is the primary auxiliary verb to be. Now to be also has some forms. Alright, in what form you can use them. So to be verbs are what? Is, am, are, was, were, being, B-E-I-N-G, being and being, and last will or will be. We can write it will also, we can write will be also. Okay, so how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, isn't it? So the primary auxiliary verb to be. Alright, so this be or to be, you can say be also, you can say to be also. Be can be used as a main verb, also it can be used as an auxiliary verb, as an helping verb. So first we will see now when we say is used with the singular, isn't it? I'll just write it, then you will understand better. Say if I write first person, second person, third person, say I, you, he, she and it. These are what? First person, second person, third person, all in singular, isn't it? And we and they are also third person but plural. Now with I, what do we say? Do we say I is, I are? No. What do we say? We say I am, you are, he, she, it. We use what? We use is, isn't it? And with we and they, what do we use? Are. So see, am, are, is. These is, am, are, is, am, are. So with to be in the present tense and singular is, you, he, she, it, we are using what? We are using is, am, are, isn't it? This is the to be. And with plural, we are using are. For the past tense, we can use were, isn't it? And for future, we can use, for future tense, we can use what? Will, shall. Alright. So this is what? This is the form of to be verb. With we use am. With the second person we use are. With third person he, she, it, is. So these three are what? These three are singular, isn't it? Singular present tense. And singular, this is singular what? This is singular, plural present. With plural present we use are. With plural past, this is past, isn't it? Past we use were. And with plural future, this is what? This is future tense. Shall, will. And with future, if you say with future past, what we use? Was, isn't it? Past. Future you or past, future we will use will and you will, and with the past we will use you what? You were, isn't it? We never say you was. That will be incorrect. We use you were. With he, she, it, we use he was, she was with the past, isn't it? So this is the way we find out the primary auxiliary verb and how it is used with the first person, second person singular, as well as the third person plural in the present, past, as well as in the future tense. Alright, so I hope I'm clear here. Alright. So when we say that auxiliary verbs are used as the main verb also or as the helping verb also. Alright, so now let's see when auxiliary verb, as the name suggests, auxiliary is the helping verb. Main work of the auxiliary is to help. Okay, so when we use as a helping verb, we'll see some sentences. Example, helping verb. Say, I am driving a car. Then she is eating a pizza. Then they were dancing on the street, and he was writing a letter. Fine. Now you see in these sentences the helping verbs to be. To be is a what? Auxiliary verb, isn't it? To be is an auxiliary verb, it is an helping verb. Here it is acting also as a helping verb, not as a main verb. Why? Because see, the helping verb am, it is a form of to be, isn't it? Am driving. The main verb is driving. So I am driving means in the present tense, isn't it? I am driving. She is eating. The main verb is eating. Is the helping verb, isn't it? It is showing the tense. This is what? This is present tense. They were dancing. Were, past tense. Dancing is the main verb here. Alright, these are what? These are all helping verbs. Auxiliary verbs, these are helping verbs. To be verbs, these are the to be verbs acting as the auxiliary helping verbs, not the main verbs. To be, isn't it? Then in this one also, so see, was, isn't it? Was, past tense. Writing is the main verb. Alright, so here the to be verb is acting as the auxiliary or the helping verb is acting as the helping verb, not the main verb. Alright, to be verb is acting as the helping verb. Now if this to be verb has to act as the main verb, then how the sentence will look? To be as the main verb. Alright, here when we will use to be as the main verb, we will just talk of a state of being, not of any action. Fine. Let's see. I am tired. See here, I am. There is no other action word. Writing, singing, driving, eating, sleeping, nothing is there, isn't it? So this here, this to be verb is acting as the main verb, isn't it? Because there is no other verb here. Then one more you see. You are beautiful. Here also see, we are using what? Present tense, and this are, this is the to be verb, isn't it? The primary auxiliary verb, isn't it? To be. Here also are is the acting as the main verb. We are saying you are beautiful. No other action word. One more. It was raining cats and dogs last night. Sorry. It was raining cats and dogs last night. So here what we are using? Was. It is an auxiliary verb acting as the main verb, or you can say it is a to be verb acting as the main verb, because there is no action words, isn't it? No action words. So, and if you talk of this one, cats and dogs, it's a proverb. Cats and dogs means it was raining heavily. Alright, it means raining heavily. So this is all about to be verbs. Now you see the to be verbs, this to be verbs, to be, these are also called irregular verbs. Alright, irregular. Now why are they called irregular? Now see, this is the main verb. We have studied what? The forms of this. Now let's see what are the forms. Is, am, are, was, were, being, been, and be, isn't it? So why are they called irregular? Because there is no similarity between these forms and the main verb, isn't it? The main verb looks different, be, whereas the forms, it is, am, are, was, were, and this being and being and be. So apart from this, all these are dissimilar, not similar, isn't it? Not similar with the parent. Say you can say these are the children or the kids who are not similar with the mother. So hence they are known as irregular verbs. Is it clear? So for today I will not be extending the video any further. I do not want to make it long and confuse you. So I hope you have understand what are the auxiliary verbs, why are they called the helping verbs. The to be verbs are the primary auxiliary verbs. Alright, so the to be verbs can also act as the helping verbs as well as the main verbs, and we have seen the examples of both types, as that is to be verbs acting as the main verbs as well as the helping verbs. So that will be all for today. Meet you all in the next class. Goodbye.